Good evening and thank you for watching ECSO News on Blab TV. I'm Sergeant Melanie Peterson.
And I'm Amber Southard. We need your help identifying different suspects in crimes throughout Escambia County, including an armed robbery, 3 business burglaries, and 3 retail thefts, and several car burglaries. On May 11th, around 1 a.m., this suspect broke into and disabled the front door locks at 2 Starbucks stores, one located at 1701 East 9 Mile Road and the other located at 2200 West 9 Mile Road. The white male is approximately 6 foot, wearing blue jeans, a green jacket, and black shoes. He's also had a scarf wrapped around his head, covering his face. And on May 1st, these 2 suspects walked into the Motel 6 on Pensacola Boulevard wearing masks. They then pointed a gun at the clerk and demanded money. We now need your help locating DeQuarius Tyrell Brown. He is wanted for larceny and robbery with a firearm. We also need your help identifying the second suspect, who is wearing the black hoodie. We need your help identifying this woman. On December 19th, 2016, 3 different Precision Tune auto care centers were burglarized. During the burglaries, a cell phone was stolen. Since then, photos of this female started showing up in the phone owner's iCloud. ECSO investigators would like to speak with her. This suspect stole nearly $400 worth of hair from the Beauty Mart on Chiefs Way on May 1st. Do you recognize her? And on April 9th, 2 women stole shoes and handbags from Shoe Station on Davis Highway. And this suspect entered the parking garage at the Vista Del Mar condominiums on Johnson Beach Road on April 15th and burglarized a vehicle. Their surveillance video also shows the suspect checking other vehicles for unlocked doors. And this suspect stole Nike shoes from the Bells Outlet on Davis Highway. She ran out of the store and was picked up by a silver Volkswagen Jetta, driven by a female getaway driver. If you have any information about these suspects in any of these photos, call Crime Stoppers at 433-STOP or the ECSO at 436-9620.
ECSO deputies rescue a puppy. On May 12th around 1 p.m., Deputy Sheriff Matheny and Deputy Sheriff Trainee Waters responded to a call of a puppy locked in a hot vehicle. The outside temperature was 92 degrees. The driver of the vehicle could not be located and the puppy was squealing, panting heavily and in distress. Due to the continued state of panic and distress of the puppy, Deputy Matheny broke the driver's side window to rescue the pup. DST Waters gave the dog water and placed her in a cool patrol car until Animal Control arrived and took custody. The driver, owner of the pup, William Spartman, was located and arrested. Martin Hendricks and Tyreek Turner have been arrested. The ECSO is still looking for this suspect in connection with this shooting. If you have any information about this incident or his identity, please call Crime Stoppers at 433-STOP or the ECSO at 436-9620. Citizens Law Enforcement Academy just kicked off. Sheriff David Morgan opened up our Citizens Law Enforcement Academy. Attendees learned about the judicial process with Judge Patricia Kinsey and Judge Jenny Kinsey. Then Deputy Howard Anderson wrapped up the night discussing the role of patrol deputies. Attendees explored 2 ECSO patrol vehicles and had lots of questions for the speakers. Next week, CLEA attendees will put on their honorary deputy hats and dive deep into our training unit. Attendees will be put into scenarios as if they were deputies. Our next CLEA class begins July 26th. Sign up early to attend or visit our website, escambiaso.com.
Arrested for cocaine trafficking. On May 4th, the Escambia County Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Narcotics Unit arrested Lester Steens for his involvement in cocaine distribution operation. The investigation resulted in the seizure of 1.3 pounds of cocaine with an estimated street value of $60,000. More arrests are expected to be made in this case. Arrested for armed robbery and fleeing and eluding law enforcement. On May 10th, ECSO deputies responded to an armed robbery in progress at the Circle K located at 330 Kenmore Road. Once on scene, deputies were given a description of the 2 suspects and the vehicle they were driving. Deputy Reeves located the Chevy Malibu the suspects were in and tried to get the driver to pull the car over. Instead, the vehicle sped up and wrecked near Pensacola Boulevard and Hope Drive. Both suspects exited the vehicle and fled the scene on foot. After a foot chase, deputies apprehended both suspects and placed them under arrest. Eric Banks Jr. was charged with armed robbery of a business and resisting arrest without violence. Xavier Salisbury was charged with armed robbery of a business, fleeing and eluding, and resisting arrest without violence.
A Tate High School student was awarded an SRO-sponsored scholarship. The Florida Association of School Resource Officers awarded Tate High School student Adam Norrie with a $1,000 scholarship to the college of his choosing. School Resource Officer Whitlock and Principal Shackle presented the scholarship award to Adam, who is a model student and will attend the University of West Florida, where he plans to major in pre-med. Congratulations, Adam. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office is offering a free training opportunity to help places of worship consider the security needs of their facilities and operations. The training is designed for anyone responsible for the safety of their place of worship and will help attendees to understand the challenges and needs of worship security. The goal is to make the process of creating a secure environment easier, less expensive, and more effective. The next class will be held at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office at 1700 West Leonard Street on Tuesday, May 29th at 5:30 p.m. Seating is limited. To secure a seat, please complete a registration form on our website. ECSO deputies keeping busy on the beach, but not too busy to stop and say hello to a little boy who was waving at Deputy Wilson while he was patrolling on his ATV. The little boy's father, Mike Hubie, shared these photos of his son's encounter with Deputy Wilson on Pensacola Beach. Mike wrote, "Thank you, Escambia County Sheriff's Office. My son Duke just wanted a wave, and you busted out the sunglasses and the beach stuff. We love you guys. Thank you for everything you do." Great job, Deputy Wilson.
ECSO participates in a hurricane exercise. Chief Deputy Chip Simmons and the ECSO's Domestic Security Unit participated with Escambia County Emergency Management in the Florida Division of Emergency Management's statewide hurricane exercise. Agencies use the exercise to participate in Florida's emergency plans or procedures for a potential hurricane making landfall in the state. Exercises like this help ensure Escambia County is prepared for the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season.
Congratulations to Escambia County Mounted Posse member Karen Powell and her horse Scout. They successfully completed their posse certification. It is good to have her back on the posse. Karen's previous horse Tag passed away unexpectedly last month. Meet Karen and Scout and the rest of the posse at our Cops and Kids Spring Festival on June 2nd at Inslee Elementary School from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We appreciate our volunteers. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office honored our amazing volunteers who graciously give their time to serve within the Sheriff's Office. We could not do what we do without them. We encourage anyone with an interest in making a positive contribution to their community to seriously consider joining the many volunteers who are giving their time to the agency. Volunteers are needed in various areas within the agency to assist with the day-to-day operations and can serve as many hours as they wish. If you are interested in volunteering with the Sheriff's Office, please contact David Craig at 436-9281.
3 teens arrested for burglary. On May 9th around 2:30 a.m., ECSO deputies responded to a call for a business burglary in progress at Maria's Country Store at 7468 Mobile Highway. It was reported that a vehicle dropped off 2 white males who then broke a window and entered the store. Deputies noticed blood on the broken window of the unoccupied store. Deputy Smith and K-9 Cairo tracked and located Caleb Tichy in the nearby wooded area. During the course of the investigation, Andrew Hentz and Trent Thompson were also identified as suspects. They were located at their residence and arrested. The vehicle was found abandoned in a wooded area off Woods Road, which belonged to one of the suspects' family members. Caleb Tichy, Andrew Hentz, and Trent Thompson were arrested for damage to property, burglary, and larceny.
Here's this week's episode of Crime Tip Tuesday.
I'm Chief Deputy Chip Simmons, and welcome to Crime Tip Tuesday. Be on guard about hiring people who come door to door looking for home repair work. They may not be trained to do the work, or they may overcharge you. Try to get referrals for home repairs from family and friends. Always be very clear about the detail of the work you want done, and never pay for the whole job in advance. This has been a tip from your Escambia County Sheriff's Office.
Our Cops and Kids Spring Festival rescheduled to June 2nd. Parents, guardians, and kids are invited to a free picnic at Inslee Elementary on Saturday, June 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, and drinks are provided. There will be games for all ages, including our Suspect Pursuit Maze. We will have demonstrations from our SWAT team, K-9, and the Escambia County Mounted Posse. Our ECSO Explorers will be on hand to fingerprint children if the parent or guardian wants them done. See you at Inslee Elementary on June 2nd.
Meet the newest member of the Dirty Dozen, Warren's top 12 most wanted fugitives. Colby Andrews is wanted for aggravated assault, battery, 2 counts of larceny, and changing a serial number on a weapon. And failure to appear. We need your help locating him. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Colby or any of the other Dirty Dozen members, contact the ECSO at 436-9620, or you can always call Gulf Coast Crime Stoppers.
We need your help locating the people in this week's Crime Stopper segment. Our first featured fugitive is Christy Marie Vasquez. She's 39 years of age and she is wanted for failure to redeliver leased property in violation of probation. Vasquez bond is $5,268.81. Now,
We talk about
we talk about this all the time.
We do.
If you're going to go to Buddy's and you're going to buy something, either pay for it
Or bring it back.
Thank you. I'm just saying.
It's not worth a coffee table, a mattress, a TV stand. It's not worth it.
No, Christy. And the amount of the bond is equivalent to the property. So, I mean, it's like, come on, Christy. It's ridiculous. Anyway. Our next is William West. He is 60 years of age and is wanted for burglary of an unoccupied structure, possession of cocaine, and grand theft. West has a bond of $42,000. And all I'm going to say is, 60 years old.
He knows better.
Possession of cocaine.
We don't like that at all.
Come on now. Somebody out there has got to know where William is.
They recognize him.
I mean, he's 60.
He's 60. He's been doing this for a while.
Long time. And finally, Stephen Kendrick. He's 33 years of age and is wanted for burglary and larceny. Kendrick has a bond of $42,500, and we know Kendrick.
We do. We talk about him on Wanted Fugitives, which also airs on Blab TV, and he gives us that blue steel, that pose.
From Zoolander.
Yeah, in his mugshot. We'd like to help him out with another picture if he's not happy with that one, or if he's got a different pose he'd like to do. And the only way we can do that is if he turns himself in, or if you at home help out.
That's right. If you know the whereabouts of any of our featured fugitives, contact Crime Stoppers at 433-STOP or go online to p3tips.com. All tips are 100% anonymous, folks. If your tip leads to a fugitive's arrest, you could be eligible for a cash reward of up to $3,000. Remember, everybody, crime doesn't pay, but we do. Hey everybody, it's Warrant Wednesday here at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, and it's time for
Wheel of Fugitives!
Yes, it's time to find out.
That's right. All right, this week's winner is Herman Rigby. He's 23 years of age. Get ready for this, Amber. He's wanted for a violation of probation on burglary, trafficking stolen property, criminal mischief, grand theft, and he does not have a bond.
Herman, 23 and all those charges? We don't play like that here in Escambia County. We want you to do the right thing, turn yourself in. If you don't, the people at home are going to help us get you a better mugshot. We did notice that one's blurry, so we're going to help you out. Tell them how they can do so.
They're going to do that by calling Crime Stoppers at 433-STOP. If Herman is arrested off the information provided by you, you could earn a reward of up to $3,000. It's like Amber and I always say, crime doesn't pay, but we do.
We need your help locating the people in this week's Missing Persons segment. Our first missing juvenile is 15-year-old Frederick Dwayne Walker Jr. Walker was reported missing on February 28th. He is an habitual runaway. And we continue to highlight these last 3 missing juveniles. They were reported missing on January of 2018. First is 14-year-old William Edward Thomas. He was reported missing on January 1st. Next is 15-year-old Miranda Rosalie Riles. who was reported missing on January 24th. Riles is considered a habitual runaway. And our last missing juvenile is 16-year-old DeAndre Jenkins Ross. Ross was reported missing on January 31st. He's also an habitual runaway. If you have any information on any of these missing people, contact the ECSO at 436-9620.
I'm Escambia County Sheriff David Morgan, and thank you for watching Ask the Sheriff. This is your chance to ask me any questions you want answered about the ECSO. Our team hits the streets again, and here are some of the questions you asked. Sienna asked, why do the 911 operators ask so many questions? So, Sienna, let me begin by giving you a scenario. How about that? You're a deputy at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. You're in your patrol vehicle, and you're patrolling Escambia County. And a call comes in for you to respond to a particular address. Now, what would you like to know about this response? Would you like to know what the nature of the call is? Is it a domestic violence? Is it a burglar alarm that's gone off? Is there a family disturbance that's been reported, shots fired, etc.? How many people are you rolling on? Do you need to call for backup? Are the people that you're responding to, has there been calls to this address before? Those are all of the things that our 911 operators, which, by the way, probably, I would say the most comparable job as far as stress goes to our 911 dispatch operators would probably be an air traffic controller, where they've got all these plates spinning and they're trying to basically get an officer on scene as quickly as possible to a citizen who obviously needs assistance. What's the nature of the call? Is it an emergency, non-emergency situation? So when the call comes into dispatch, our computer system lets us know a certain amount of information, the address, etc., and that's immediately sent out to the responding vehicle. What they are doing is gathering information for officer safety reasons to let you know what you're rolling into, meaning you're just not rolling up to a house and walking up and knocking on the front door and you get whatever you get. And so it's basically an officer safety issue. While I know that in an emergency situation, your anxiety level is off the scale, you're wanting an officer there to save you from a particular incident, we also have to consider officer safety and the safety of the surrounding community. Does it require more than one officer? Are there multiple people that we're responding to? And at that point, a supervisor and or the responding officer may ask for backup. We would know none of those things if our dispatchers weren't trained to ask a series of questions in the dispatching situation to make sure that our officers are kept safe and yet also getting on scene to resolve that particular situation. So, bear with us. They're not playing 20 questions with you because, they have nothing else to do. It's all about an officer safety issue. Susan asks, where can she report narcotics activity due to some activity in the area where she lives? Susan, I certainly, commiserate with you if you're living in an area where there is narcotics activity. I will also tell you, unfortunately, Susan, in today's world, that we have narcotics activity in all areas of Escambia County, in the city of Pensacola, in the city of Century, everywhere in our community, throughout the state and throughout our nation. Drugs and drug usage has unfortunately become a fact of our social fabric and culture anymore. So I say that only to let you know that it's not unique to your area. Illegal activity occurs, in our highest affluent areas in Pensacola to the lowest. Of course, it's illegal activity, and so we would appreciate you giving us a call. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. Since it's a non-emergency, you can call 436-9620, that is Central Dispatch. Ask for no officer contact, ask to speak with a supervisor, and you can report then a specific incidence of narcotics activity. Or again, you can call Crime Stoppers. You can report that anonymously, ask for no contact, and we will honor that. Again, I will assure you that we will look into this. Now, by the way, immediate action normally doesn't occur with narcotics tips. Why? Because there's a whole process that we have to go through in order to build a case that will assure that the state attorney's office can successfully prosecute those cases. Now, barring you getting any satisfaction from those numbers, Susan, if you feel that you're still not being listened to, please call my office at 436-9512, and you'll speak to Anita. Let her know that you made a call into the Ask the Sheriff's program and you would like for us to look personally into this thing. But I can guarantee you, Susan, that we will take your complaint and it will be looked into. Samantha is very concerned about the lack of use of child restraining devices. Well, Samantha, we share your concern in that because that's a safety issue, and especially with children, which are placed in our care. Unfortunately, Samantha, you taking photos or kind of doing a little bit of citizen policing, if you will, is not enough. We can't use that. It has to be something that the officer observes. However, if you observe this, and you can give us a call, meaning that the white Tahoe has a child in the front seat that's unrestrained. I just saw them at the the local bank or whatever. Samantha, if you observe a vehicle with a child in it unrestrained, again, you can take all the photos that you would like. Unfortunately, we can't use those. We have to personally observe that. So if you would, call 436-9620. That's Central Dispatch. It's a non-emergency. Again, identify the vehicle for us and your current location, and we will attempt to get an officer out there. As you can imagine, Samantha, again, because last year we responded to over 247,000 calls for service. We have officers that are responding to robberies in progress, home invasions, et cetera, et cetera. So while I know that that's an important issue, especially from a child's perspective, it may not be high enough on the priority list for us to get there. What you're wanting us to correct, Samantha, is, just like so many things in society today, we're wanting to make citizens responsible and to act responsible. That's something that is far, far beyond law enforcement. But call us, we'll do our best and see if we can assist you in this matter.
Is it hard to be a sheriff deputy? And what are the qualifications for it?
Well, the qualifications are basic. You have to be 21 years old, complete the academy. We ask that you have a Florida driver's license, and so many of the qualifications are set not by us, but by the state. And of course, you have to attend here locally. It's called George Stone, which is one of our vocational academies here in Escambia County, and that's actually ran by the superintendent of schools, Malcolm Thomas. And once you complete the academy, then you come to the Escambia County Sheriff's Office and you go through what we call a local upgrade training program. You're assigned to a field training officer, an FTO, and you have additional weeks of training that you have to do there. And once you complete all that, then you're basically fully certified as a law enforcement officer. You have to sit for and pass a state examination, which is part of that process. Then the real hard part begins, and that's where you'll work shift work for several years before you're eligible for promotion, or you get what we call a day shift. So it's tough to be a sheriff's deputy today. Just the work schedule itself and the training that's required, because once you're done with all that, it's not over. We have continuing education requirements, and deputies are always being trained in the latest changes to the law. They have to go to the range and qualify annually. So the training and the education never stops as a deputy sheriff. And then on top of that, we have to deal with people that, really don't have our best interest at heart. They want to bring or do harm to our community. Some sell drugs, some abuse children and women, and I should say spouses. And so it's deputies that stand between that bad person and you. So it's very, very difficult to be a deputy. And also today, many times we don't get a lot of really good press, and people don't hear about the good things that deputies do, like Milkshake with a Cop, where you get to come out and see deputies in a whole different light. So yes, when you see deputies, just remember that like everyone else, while they have to have a smile on their face and always be courteous in every situation, they too may be having a bad day. So if you see a law enforcement officer, just to thank you for what you do goes a long way. Tracy asked a question, and it's kind of tied into some other citizens' requests about how the deputies utilize their agency-issued vehicle. Basically, again, if you're a sworn law enforcement officer, either in patrol or in investigations, you're assigned a vehicle, which obviously the vehicle is assigned primarily for your use for duty. We authorize their use of that vehicle and their uniforms, by the way, when they're engaged in off-duty employment. We have contracts with certain businesses around town where they can call and request, an off-duty deputy, and then they pay the deputy's salary for that time. Now, when a deputy takes that position, it all goes through a central scheduling office. And by the way, this is all approved by Florida statute. This is not just something that we do here locally. Part of the money that the officers pay, $3, goes back to the agency, and that's to cover, the gas, insurance, etc., for the car. Also, when a deputy is on an off-duty status employment job, meaning they're not physically on duty with the sheriff's office, they're required to answer any officer needs assistance call. And the owners of the businesses that they're employed at understand that the deputy may in fact have to leave that business if an officer assistance calls. So we kind of, that's a force multiplier, if you will, that when you're on duty and you call for assistance, let's say there's someone at one of the local grocery stores who's hired deputies to work off-duty security there. If you need assistance and you call, that deputy has to leave that off-duty location and respond to your officer needs assistance call. So, that's one of the very upsides to those sorts of things. And the county is reimbursed, again, for the use of the vehicle, gas, etc. The question about, the vehicle for personal use, the primary reason, or the primary answer to that question in the bottom line is, vehicles cannot be used, with rare exception, for your own personal use, meaning you can't go to the grocery store, you can't take the kids to soccer, you can't take the kids to school, etc. It's not your personal use vehicle. It has to be in some way tied to, your duty performance. Now, we offer a little bit of latitude in that. Why? Because again, we like for officers to have officer presence throughout the community. So if an officer's on the way home and they want to, stop at the local Tom Thumb or Circle K and grab a cup of coffee on the way home while they're still in uniform, that too is a force multiplier, meaning that there are deputies all over the county. So, we take a little bit of latitude, if you will, in that, but for the vehicle to be used as personal use, that is not approved. Remember, you can also email your questions and ask the sheriff at escambiaso.com. We'll be back next week right here on Blab TV Tuesday night at 8 p.m.